I'm going to go through kind of what my work is. So I wear a couple different hats. I do work with my brother as an artist, and then as Marcus said, I work as the new media curator at a space in Roslyn called Artistry. So I'll talk first about the work that I do with my brother Hayes as an artist. So Hayes and I have been working together since we were kids. When we were young, we played music together. We would make videos. We would do basically anything we could to create together. And we've always been working together. I really don't know how to do it any other way. So I'll talk briefly about the work that's kind of been at the center of our universe for the last 3 years now, which is this idea of location-based, location-aware music. To give you a sense of where this sort of started for us, when we were living in New York, the artists Christo and Jean-Claude created this temporary installation called The Gates in Central Park. Unlike work that's exhibited on a neutral space like in a museum or a gallery, this was work that was actually in dialogue with the place. So we kind of wanted to know if it was possible to do that same, take that same approach but with sound. So that question sort of culminated in the release of The National Mall, which is a location-aware album, as we called it. It's an album designed exclusively for a mobile app that uses the device's built-in GPS functionality to sonically map this park. And so the way it actually works is hundreds of musical nodes are geotagged throughout the space, so that as the listener traverses the landscape, the musical score is actually unfolding around them. And there's no right or wrong way to go here. It's we kind of explain it as it's like a choose your own adventure of an album. A little animation here that explains this a little bit better. So using the app, as you're walking towards the base of the Washington Monument, you hear the sounds of instruments warming up. If you keep moving, you hear the sound of a single mellotron spelling out a very simple melody. And if you keep going, you hear the sound of a choir joining in, and sweeping violins. So all these layers are being added, and you finally get to the top, and you hear the sounds of drums and fireworks and all sorts of musical craziness, and as if all of these sounds are radiating out from this giant obelisk that punctuates the center of the park. But then if you go in the opposite direction, this whole thing kind of happens in reverse. And if you leave the perimeter of the park, the music actually fades to silence. So, when we released this, one of the things that we got asked about was saying, could you send us a copy of this album to review for this publication or whatnot? And the thing that was difficult to explain was that this wasn't that kind of an album, that really the architecture of the landscape was intrinsic to the listening experience. The Washington Post listed it as one of their top 10 albums of the year, which was kind of great because it was the first for an app, which was kind of validation that they did see this new art form not just as bells and whistles, but as a really new way of experiencing music. So then we actually did one the following year for Central Park in New York. And currently we've been working as artists in residence at Stanford University doing one that will eventually span the entirety of Highway 1, a driving app. So that kind of gives you an overview of the sort of work that my brother and I do.